right, kids, welcome. Well, I hit the music button, but it doesn't look like we got music coming up. That's a little bit interesting. Let me try that one more time. See if we can get some music going. No? All right. Well, then in that case, let's maybe restart some things. Well, that's how we'll start today's stream, is by doing a reset on all of the apps and pieces that are out there running. That's okay, because I kind of wanted to get to the bottom of another issue anyway. So I'm going to shut this down, and we're going to shut down Mr. Announcer Bot. There we go. That's shut down. And we'll go ahead and stop this too. Then I'm going to run these actually from the apps themselves. Normally I do them standalone, and we're going to just run them straight up. Because there's an issue I noticed with, let's take a look at this. Is this because it can't overwrite? What's this? Okay, looks like that's the same error. Okay, is that loading? It looks like that's loading. Okay, Mr. Announcer Bot is here. And let's start up the D&D app. Let's see if we get some music now. Still no music. Why no music? So are we sending the music command out, I guess, is the question. Oh, hold on. I think I know what the problem is. We need a refresh over here on that piece. We need a refresh on the dice, on the overlay, and on the back overlay as well. All right, that might have fixed it. Let's see if that works a little bit better. Okay. Refresh. All right, so today I want to work on the visualizing the cue, the die roll cue. And on this card, by the way, I modified it so that it would throw out more die by changing this to 12D12 right there, just because I wanted to kind of do a little more stress testing on it. So let's take a look at it. That's kind of what it's looking there with 12 die coming out. So there was a problem on that roll. The problem is that the total, the die roll continued and didn't finish in time, and it didn't show the total at the end. I've noticed this with more die. When I have more die in play and large die, they bounce around more. They take longer to settle down. This one will get a total. There's the total right there. And it's kind of a scalability issue. That one works. Yeah. There, again, that was the other problem, where there was no total. They were clearing, I think, before the total is counted. And okay. It's pudding stuff. Hey, Pudding, welcome. Welcome, welcome. 9. It's Coding Gorilla. Look out. He's here. Coding Gorilla is in the house. Welcome, kids. And Jetsom's here as well. Everyone's kicking in. Jetsom's in the house. I'm just looking at like a kind of a sometimes bug that I'm getting, and it's kind of based on, it's statistically. Right now it looks like it's about statistically happening about 50% of the time. But it has to do with when I have a large number of dice on screen and it takes a while to get the roll started. I think this is an issue with the Canon physics engine. There you go. And it clears them out before we have a chance to stop them. And I'm not sure where that's coming from, to be honest. I'm like a little bit blanking out on that. I don't think it's coming from a call to clear the dice. That's what I think. Jetson says, on that previous roll, I saw one of the dice was still wiggling. Wonder if it's not done. Yeah, that's kind of part of the problem here. And I think there's a timing component to this that I'm not sure where it's coming from. So I need to figure that part out. I don't think it's coming from up above. Is where I think it's not coming from. We've got something like a clear dice, I think. Call. Yeah. I don't think it's coming from here. Let me set a breakpoint there. And let's see if we can duplicate it. That looks still. That one worked. All right, there's that one. That one makes sense. We had 2 of those. Interesting. Back to back. All right, play the card again. We're getting 2 of these. What's that coming from? Update clear dice button. This might be my problem right here. If it's in fact coming from us, let me change it to 4 seconds, like that. And this is this other default timer. There's something funny about wiggles. Well, I would agree with that. It is. Yep, I would agree with that. Okay. Artist's best quality is their wiggles. Fair. Yeah, I'm in agreement with all that. Okay. So we've changed that a little bit. Let's see if we can duplicate it. Let's clear my, let's disable all my breakpoints a second here. And let's see if we can duplicate it. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that means we're all artists. Well, maybe. Yeah, I guess. Some wiggle more than others. So I'm trying to get it to duplicate where the dice clear before the total comes up. That's what I'm looking for. Dice clearing before the total comes up. Also, we got this extra 0 coming in from in the chat room here that I want to get rid of. I think that might have been it. So we're just kind of trying to give it enough time so the dice statistically are incredibly likely to all stop bouncing around after that time passes. And normally we're not throwing this many dice out with the cards. Oh, we just got it to duplicate there. All right. Let's go change that up. Is this open source? LaFlame 954. It's open source, but it's not, the assets are not open source. We're going to change that to 4,500. Give it another half second there. So the assets are not. The 3D dice are, that's all open source there, but the effects around them are not open source. Those are all licensed pieces that I've grabbed from an asset provider, like a stock video provider, image provider. All right, let's see if we can duplicate it now. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the dice cue is working. We're just not visualizing it, so we need to visualize that. I just want to get these 4 die coming out here. I'm going to get rid of that extra 0 too. And actually, while we're at this, oh, thanks so much, Coding Gorilla, for sharing that. All right, these seem to be working. There's one bouncing around right there. All right. That one, no, we did duplicate the problem there at the end. So that one needed more time. Okay, so let's go figure that out. So the breakpoint up here. Get another die roll out here. And then what I want to do before I go into the visualizing of the die roll stack, let's go ahead and give it a full one more second to settle down here. I want to see if I want to see if we can speed along the queue of these. So right now, if we're waiting 5.5 seconds for every roll, that's more time than I want. A lot of rolls will settle down before that. So what I want to do is I want to accelerate it. I want to first see if we can, if we're good, if that changes, keeps us from duplicating the problem. I'm going to roll like 5 more times. Oh, still got the problem. All right. So that change is maybe not helping us as much as we thought. Okay. Where do we start this? Show this button. This happens. Ah, this is 6 seconds. This may be my problem here. I'm going to switch it back to 8. The other one's 8 as well. And I think that's an initialization piece. Initialize game, yeah, only use once there. I could do this. I could come in here and say, let's do, yeah, I think I'm going to change, drop that back down to 4, and then we'll execute this line of code. Change it now to 8. All right, run that. Now let's see what we got. All right, 1. And again, so we're looking to make sure there's a total on every single one before the die are cleared. This took a while to settle down. Okay, there's a total. All right, that one's good. This one's taking a while to start. Sometimes I notice if you have a bunch of die and they're stacking, I'm visualizing them stacking up. Canon takes a while. Canon.js takes a while to get them all ready to go. And like I say, this is an extreme, this is my version of what I would call an extreme case. I want this to work. If I can get this one working, then everything else should be good because there'll be fewer dice in general. They'll be smaller and they'll settle faster. Good. Now, I want this to, all right, so I'm going to say that's working. Now what I want to do is I want to accelerate, let's see, where was I on that? Here. I want to accelerate the destruction of the die in case we have viewers in the queue. Now, I noticed, I played around with this yesterday, and I noticed that, that this by itself was causing problems. And I think the problem is we were just clearing the dice too soon. I wasn't, to be honest, I wasn't really fully understanding what the problems were. But let me just put a couple things in the queue here. So I've got 4 rolls in the queue. Okay. But I have a theory I will work around on how to fix it. But here's, let's just run it. So now we're clearing it sooner. So the question is, what could be that? All right. That's cool. That was fun.
Dance battle.
Battle. Okay. Let's see. We made a change there. Let's see what happens now with it. Get something in the queue. So I've got one in the queue. Okay, as soon as it stops rolling, it should clear, but I want to see the total. Huh. That seemed to work. Let's try again. That was bad. So there, a roll got interrupted, and I'm not sure how it got interrupted. That's not good. That's going to require some research, I think, to understand that. All right, so let's document it at least, so we know what we've got to come back for. I saw a roll get, viewer roll, get interrupted. By another viewer roll. In the queue. Let's just look at that one more time, see if we can trigger it. Got a total? That's what I'm looking for. Looking for that total coming back. Total being reported on screen at the end of every roll. Okay, now I don't have anything in the queue. I'm going to hit the card now and see if we can interrupt it. I don't see a total. That interrupted it. So having nothing in the queue, hold on, that may be a clue here. Yeah. I think that's it. It seemed to happen when you queued up a new roll just as another was starting. Yeah. I think that's right. So it's like, it's a 1, 2 steps to reproduce. So the first roll comes out, I think, I'm just playing with this idea. And I wait till the next roll comes out and then I hit play card. Now, that's the interruption, that's the sequence. Yeah, there we go. Steps to repro. Put something in the queue. When it rolls, trigger another roll. Okay, so that means that actually provides some insight into what might be causing the problem. Waiting for dice to be destroyed may not be set to true when we DQ. Let's see if that's the case. Yeah. Well, it's roll. We go to roll viewer dice. Does that set it? It does set it to true. Where am I setting this thing to false? In DQ viewer roll. So we roll the dice. Is it possible somebody's coming in right behind us and setting that? Okay, waiting for dice to be destroyed. What's interesting is we're not actually setting it to false when we're destroying the dice. All dice destroyed. Well, we call dequeue viewer roll, which does set it to false. What if we're calling timer stop? I want to rename timer. Let me shut down for a second here. Okay. Roll viewer dice sets it to true. Dequeue viewer roll sets it to false. And dequeue viewer roll is called. Well, we got it called from here, but we got a system diagnostics debugger break, so we should see it when that happens. This timer elapsed is, we want to rename this to force die roll timer elapsed. Okay. So if I trigger another roll, hold on, let's look at this a second. I'm going to come in through here, roll viewer die. I'm going to execute all of this code here, which is basically just set up the roll, is what this is. And it's parsing some stuff out. Let's do this. I probably can't extract this into its own method. Yeah, because I got those returns in it. I'm going to do a setup roll. Just refactor this a little bit. Pop that in here. Let's change these returns to return false. Nice. And then return true at the end. And then here we're going to say, hey, if not, setup roll, then get out. Okay. So when we come in here, oh, it looks like we need the die roll back. Oops. Let's do it again. Let's do it instead. Let's get die roll is equal to setup roll. We're going to return dice roll. These are going to be our return null, RN for return null. There we go. Okay, so dice roll is null. We're going to get out of there. Okay, so a little bit of refactoring there. If we're waiting for dice to be destroyed, Then we enqueue. Otherwise, we go straight back. So waiting for dice to be destroyed must be false. For it to be false, we would have had to have called dequeue viewer roll recently. And then we would have called from there roll viewer dice, which sets waiting for dice to be destroyed to true. Are we dealing with a threading issue? Seems crazy unlikely because they're so far apart in time. Yeah, in reviewing the code, I'm not seeing it. Right? We have what appears to be reproducible something. Get something in the queue, trigger it so it comes out of the queue. The dequeue calls roll viewer dice. So it's right there. Goes from here to here. And we set it to true. Let's just try commenting this out and seeing if we can still reproduce. And if we can't, restore it and see if we can reproduce. And if we can, then what I want to do is instead of clearing the dice, I'm expecting kind of a timing related issue. I just want to add a couple seconds before we do that. So I want to set up a timer there if that's by chance the problem. Let's see. So now we got something in the queue. It comes out. I'm going to hit the play card button. There. Okay, looks like it's not reproducible. Let's double check that. Try one more time. Got some extra timers. Something's going on with the clock. You know, let's do this. Let's take the front overlay where the clock is. Oh, wait. Okay, let's do this. Refresh that. What is that? What's happened with the back overlay? It's like there's two of these up. There's two of these up is what it feels like. I've seen this behavior before when there have been two, kind of sending signals back and forth, but I've only got one. Let's try one more time. Refresh the drag and back overlay. Okay, I'm not sure what that is. I almost say let's kill this. Now show it. Fine. What's going on there? Sometimes I have days like this, kids, and today is a day like this where I'm like, wait, what is happening? And I've got like I find one edge case bug, find another edge case issue, and I'm like, what? Hey, Wild Genie, didn't see you there before. Okay, that's a better sound. That's also better. Okay, I think we're at this point where we're trying to see if we can reproduce it. So here we go one more time. 1, 2, got something in the queue now. And it's going to go away. And when the next roll comes out, I'll interrupt it, try to interrupt it. And if that fails, then it's highly likely those lines of code that I commented out were causing the problem. Yeah. It just put it in the queue. It did not interrupt it. That one finishes, and now the next one comes out. One more. There it is. Okay, these are problem lines of code. Clearing the viewer dice as soon as the dice stop rolling is not good. I think what I want to do is set up a timer here, and let's see if that works. We'll do it like after 1 second or 2 seconds. So we'll do this here. We're going to say clear now, clears dice now timer. Okay, and we'll do that. Do that. It's going to be 2 seconds, I think, or maybe 1.5 seconds. So after it's done, yeah, 1200 milliseconds. And now what we want to do is I want to say this dot start, and I think I want to be really careful here because I think I'm in some dangerous space here. When all dice are destroyed, I'm going to clear that. I'm going to stop that just in case they get destroyed from another one. So we're going to stop that call there. And I think, hold on a second, let me get the code in here. Okay. So we're only starting that clear dice now timer if we have more in the queue. So we have in the queue, we do that. We're going to stop it there. I think just to be extra careful when we roll the die, I'm going to stop it there as well. Sasha Didman is now following. Thanks for that follow, Sasha. I think I want to stop it. DQ the viewer roll. Yeah, and I want to stop it here too. I'm just stopping it like in all these different places. the only time I really want to basically have it be functional is between the time we've stopped rolling and the time the event fires for the timer, and then we tell the die to be to clean themselves up. So let's try that. Let's run this out. See if this works. And while we do that, Rory's about 18 minutes from coming in to join us today. Looking forward to that. Rory Becker, the Code Rush co-host. Okay. Someone say Rory? Yeah, I said Rory. It's important to do a real important pose at the end of your dance move when the song ends. You know, look cool? These are some tips. Got lots of tips here. It's how I landed my beautiful wife. Yep, it was the jazz hands. I think it was more dialogue along those lines. Hey, you wanna be mine? And she was like, no. I'm like, how about now? She's like, no. I'm like, how about now? She's like, no. And I'm like, how about now? And she's like, no. How about now? And that's how I won her over. It was relentless persistence. Yep.
Mark is sick.
Mark is sick. Really, Coding Gorilla, you're waiting for that one, haven't you been? For like a long time for the right time to play that one. Okay. I'm running. Let's get back into business here. I'm running. I've got this up. Let's bring up the queue. Let's do it. Let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we'll put 5 of these rolls in the queue. And what we're hoping for is after a roll stops, we'll see the total and then we'll see them clear shortly afterwards. There's the total. Yeah, so about a second and a half after that total comes up, we should see them go away. Uh-oh. Oh, no. Oh, no. All right. Clearly, the pursuit of solving this problem is going to take a while. That's what it looks like to me. It's going to take some effort, some insight, because there's a whole bunch of asynchronous stuff going on all over the place between point A and point B. Okay, there we go. All right. Yeah, that code we just wrote didn't look so bad to me. It's a little bit disheartening there. So it's we're only calling it from here. That's when the timer lapses. Clear dice timer now. We only start it there and we stop it when we get a message back that all dice are destroyed. Roll viewer dice. And we're going to roll the viewer dice when we are about to DQ a viewer roll. That whole thing really failed. All right, so here's what I guess I'm going to do. I will set a breakpoint there. We're just not going to call that. We're not going to accelerate this for now. Oh my gosh. The thing that is crazy about this here, let's go ahead and we'll go ahead and do this. We'll set a breakpoint there. We'll comment that out. About ready to change color of these die. I'm getting a little tired of blue here. Let's comment this out. Hold on now. I contend that I can click this manually and not have any problems. That's what I believe, but let's try that. Seems to cause some issues. So I'm just going to throw a to-do out there, clear that. Yeah, we know we got that timer. That timer's going to hit. And that timer invoked the DQ right there as well. All right. Back over here with that now commented out. 1, 2. We're expecting this to all work. So I've got 1 in the queue. I'm going to attempt to interrupt the one from the queue as soon as it plays, as soon as it rolls out. Yeah, the downside is now we're waiting more for that to clear, which for the queue doesn't make sense. Yeah, so I hit it again. It's bringing up the card. It's got the queue. Everything's working the way it's supposed to work now. It's just taking too long to clear. Needed to be smarter about this. And the next roll coming out. Let's change my die color. There's my new die color. So my contention is I can hit that button down there. Let's throw a bunch in the queue. 1, 2, 3. And I'm gonna hit this. I'm gonna hit the button as soon as it appears. Boom. I cleared that one before the total came up. And that caused problems. And this one are clearing all by themselves. Maybe the problem is down below. Maybe the problem isn't up above. Yeah, they're all just kind of clearing. Or maybe because there's just the timer in the back. Hold on. Let's see what's going on here. 1, 2, 3. Let's look at this one. Maybe this was causing my problem here. There's the... One, two, three. All right. So I clear it. And this is when we saw it clear fast, as I recall. Yeah, look at the button coming on behind us. I think this is partially related to the problem that we were seeing, is we weren't spotting that. Yeah, that's happening because I'm hovering over that button. just reviewing this code here. That all looks right, but I was noticing some behavior on it that didn't quite look right to me based on the behavior of the other piece. The other piece, the other buttons always worked well, and so I'm trying to figure out why would that not work so well. Let's do this. I'm going to make this, give it another 100 in the width because it was cropping the text on it. See if that looks a little bit better. 1, 2, 3. Let's go look at that. Yeah, we have no dice. Our dice are locked up. One, two, three. Come back over here. Where is it? Are we in a breakpoint? Oh, we're in a breakpoint. Okay. So I've got 2 more, I think, in the queue. As soon as the button comes up, and as soon as I've seen the text, I'm going to put that button up. I'm going to click the button. Yeah, so it's a little bit weird to me that the same kind of code, or the same kind of behavior, invoking the same kinds of things by me just manually clicking that as soon as that comes up, when I've seen the text. I don't see the text yet. So we get, the clear viewer dice comes up, but it hasn't actually stopped rolling. Now it stopped rolling. Now I'm thinking it has to do with this being so low. I think I want to make this at about, let's make it 1400. 14,000, 14 seconds for that, before that comes up. And then, show clear player dice button. This happens 8 seconds after we start the roll.
Hello.
I'm down a rabbit hole, man.
Rabbit hole?
Yeah.
Do you have a torch?
I got a dance party.
Oh, that's not bad.
You're my torch, Rory.
I'm a torch, okay.
Yay, Rory's here to save me.
Maybe.
Yeah, no, I think it's useful. I'm kind of like, I'm kind of unraveling some older legacy code that I think is contributing to kind of some problematic stuff here.
Sure.
Our goal is to accelerate the speed of the cleanup is what our goal is. And I'm thinking, I think I'm going to step away for a second from main window. Roy's participation in the show has been reduced to helpful. Did you do that, Roy? I didn't do that. Let's go over to card command here. I want to now change this. Clear timer. So we start it. The timer is going for 1.2 seconds. I'm trying to figure out, and part of this is because some of this code that I'm trying to figure out is code that I wrote like a year plus ago. But I'm trying to figure out what's happening when a die is destroyed.
Okay.
So out here we've got the die. Let's go find die roller. And there's a very distinct bit of the code that I'll visually recognize here that we send out when we are about, hold on, where are we? There it is, right there. Okay, so dice have stopped rolling.
Mm-hmm.
We send that there. Report die roll back to main app.
This was the bit we felt wasn't working yesterday, because as it turns out, we had the wrong bound version of this. We were wondering how could it possibly be null, given that we literally just set it.
That is correct. We did do that. So what I'm all on dice roll stopped is here. I'm just trying to figure out where report results. It feels like we're reporting before we're calling dice roll stopped.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm assuming report results is gonna, shows die total. So I was thinking, well, maybe there's a sequencing issue here. I'm not seeing that. Going back up above into C# here. Let's close the app down. Let's change that. Let's change this time to 1.7 seconds. Time to clear dice now. So I'm going to try this one more time, but I'll tell you, Rory, we had problems with this. Adding this line of code here led to some problems.
Okay.
That is the problem. So basically the idea is we wait until we get a dice stopped rolling event, then we call dice roller.clear viewer dice.
Seems reasonable.
Yeah, in fairness though, there may have been something else that was messing with us. A call to clear the dice coming from update clear dice button, which is would happen a certain number of seconds after we showed it. And so what I think we were running up against was maybe this thing as well triggering it. So now what I did is I said, well, you know what? Let's make this thing be 14 seconds before it actually automatically clears it.
Mm-hmm.
And let's do one other thing. The clear viewer dice button showtime. I want to look at that and make sure this is set correctly. Show clear viewer dice button. And that's the only time. Okay, so that looks good too. Okay, so let's start it up one more time with that small change. So I just uncommented that one line of code over here, right? Where we're clearing the dice. So the idea is we're going to say all dice have stopped moving and we're going to wait at 1.7 seconds. Then we're going to call clear the viewer dice. And we're going to see, does that have any problems at all? And we were noticing things where die rolls were getting interrupted. You know, it was this line of code that was causing problems. And
what would they be interrupted by?
Well, that was
as like a second roll coming on?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. By second roll. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I didn't understand what you were asking there. Yeah, exactly that. Okay. So we have that, and now we're going to come over here. We do 1, 2. We have a step to reproduce of one particular bug, which is 2 rolls. And then when the second roll comes out, we try to interrupt it by hitting play card again. We're looking to see the text come up, and then now the dice destroyed. That felt like it worked.
Delicate.
Right? As the dice stop rolling, the second roll should come out. Now I'm going to try and interrupt it. And the interrupt works. So yeah, it's that line of code.
So rather than queuing up, which is what you're hoping will happen, it is happening immediately and you are interrupting the first roll.
Yeah, and I don't understand that at all. This call to clear the dice, viewer dice, is, I think, maybe resulting. It could be. Here's the thing.
So it only goes wrong the second time.
What
So
if
you can have a couple of dice rolls in a queue, and that works fine. And then on a second sort of run through, you try to do two things, and one is allowed to interrupt the other.
Yeah, but
Feels like a state change between the first state and the second.
Yeah, I'm thinking. Here's what I'm thinking about. So clear viewer dice. I'm wondering if we're getting extras of these, like the dice, or extras of this. Right? Is kind of what I'm wondering. I kind of want to almost visualize those in some way because I kind of want to count on them is what I want. Don't have a history.log. Let's do this. It's kind of like my equivalent of a all dice destroyed. Dice stopped rolling. This might provide some insight into it. Let's go throw another roll out there so we can get a breakpoint, get these edit and continue lines to compile. Meanwhile, I'm tired of red already. Let's change my die color to, whoops, got a breakpoint there. Let me finish my die color change. Okay. All right. Now run it. Run it. All right. Now, in history, we should see those events coming in here.
Okay.
Right there. And I kind of don't want this to be maximized. I just want to be it over there. So it'll be, there's over there. Okay, so we got another all dice destroyed. So we're getting maybe extras of those.
Could be conceivably useful if you were to treat each roll of a set of dice as if it had a numeric value. So, for example, in the scenario we've got, it'd be nice to be able to see the entries as dice roll 1, 2, 3, and 4 associated with those events, so that you know exactly which dice destroyed one was coming in. Does that make sense?
It does, and I'm not yet at a point where I'm saying let's build that, but we can do that. We already have a unique GUID going down with every die roll.
Okay,
so,
that's not too bad then, yeah.
So we can certainly do that as well, I think. I'm not sure if it's, yeah, I think it should be coming up for both. Let's actually maybe change this. We'll change the history log pieces there.
Because even if you throw out just maybe the first couple characters of the GUID, that would probably be unique.
Where's my breakpoint? There it is. I'm going to throw this down under here, I suppose. Maybe do one here. Well, we got a system. We've never hit here yet. So that we're not hitting. I can almost delete that because that's not happening. And then we're going to say we want to have the EA dot dice stop rolling data dot die. What is it? Do I have an ID in here? Roll ID. So we got the roll ID dot. We can do a substring on it. We'll grab the length -4. That'll get you your last 4 characters as requested. Do the same down here. How do we feel about that?
That's pretty good, yeah. I mean, it won't change the number of events, but it'll now allow us to associate those events with at least distinct roles, should we say.
Nice. So there you go. We can also do this. We can, when we do a roll, we can send that out as well. So let's do that as well. So we've got the roll
So
going
you've got
on.
to start roll and roll destroyed.
Yeah, and that's, I think, right in this space here, roll viewer dice. Dice roller dot roll the dice, die roll. Yeah, okay. So let's trigger a roll. Hopefully that's still in the clipboard. No? All right, hold on. Let's grab it. We're going to say roll viewer dice. And this one's going to be the die roll. Dot roll ID, I think is what we're calling it. We've got a roll ID in there. It's slightly different. Cool. All right, good. Yeah, at least we're getting some data.
This will also help us detect the potential of an event being thrown twice by the same set.
Yes.
In fact, interestingly, that did appear to be happening, look.
There's, yeah,
Two
before.
above that.
Yeah, that was before, you're right. So there we go. We got dice stopped rolling. Nothing is happening. We're not at a breakpoint, are we? Nope. Well, now we just got to hear that super long breakpoint. Let's try again, because sometimes we're dealing with state issues, and
Yeah.
with all of this, let's just... Okay, so rolling AF4E. I love this showing only the last four. That's what a great noise reduction. Stopped rolling. And we're not clearing them out. At all. That's because, oh, I know why. That's because, yeah, but it's because we're not clearing because of this. Right here, what we need to do is go back and get that line of code back in here. Oh, geez, we got it in here. That's a little weird. Why didn't it trigger it? Let's try again. Where's my breakpoint? Not getting my breakpoint?
We didn't just break this by putting more debug information in, did we?
No.
That can't be right.
No, but we're getting this one, but not the other one. Why aren't we getting here? Clear dice now timer.
The only other thing we moved out was the thing that tested for null, but if that had been the case, it would have caused a break, wouldn't it? So that wasn't that shouldn't have affected anything.
You know what? If there's nothing here, we wait for the whole thing. What I want to do is I need to get this if statement out of here. Because we changed the duration on the button, how long it takes before the button kicks in, we need to go back in and we need to change that. So hold on a second. We'll get to the die stop rolling. All right, so I need to get rid of this. And let's run that now. Now I'm expecting to have a different bug, but there we go. There's that. So now those are being cleared. All right, let's watch it now. Now that we get rid of all those breakpoints that were triggering all those other breakpoints and all right, let's look at it just from now. So roll viewer dice 6F22. It's kind of fun how that comes in there. Waiting for it to settle. Are we going to settle?
Got some dice landed on top of others, look.
There we go. We got to settle. Okay, now we're doing this.
So that was our first sequence, which works.
Yeah, and so
we're expecting the second sequence to allow the second piece to interrupt the first.
Yeah,
and we're not sure why.
Yeah, so now here's the thing, though. We are the time to force die roll came at 22. Did we get? Want to see what's in the history log. Let's go into the watch here. Let's see if I can grab it from here. History. Dot entries. 79. I want the last couple of entries here. That's extra 0. So we got a dice stopped rolling. There it is right there. There's two of it. This is an old message. This is coming from another place that's logging it. Here's the new one right there. So we got the dice stopped rolling. But we didn't get an all dice are destroyed message yet. So are we going to get that? Because we need that to DQ is what we need that to do.
Yeah.
Oh no, we did get an all dice destroyed. It's right there at the bottom.
Okay.
So here's what I think I want to do. I think I want to take this timer for the force roll die timer, and I want to make it bigger than that. That's step one. The other thing I think I want to do, I'm kind of playing with the idea of, hey, if stopping that timer, well, I was playing with the idea of stopping that timer when we get to the stopped rolling, but before we get to here. So I stop that timer. I start the timer. Let's see. Hold on. We start the timer when the dice stop rolling.
Yep.
And we stop it here. Do we start at any other time? We do not. Hold on, though. That's the clear die. I'm confusing the two. I'm conflating the two. Apologies. Force die roll timer. We start that when we roll the dice.
So one of them is from the end of the movement of the dice to the maximum length of time we expect before we will before we will clear the dice.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's at 1.7 seconds.
And the second one that you're talking about, the first one listed on screen, the force die roll timer, that's between the start of the dice rolling and when?
And the time we clear it.
Okay.
Let's document that. And since we're, let's document it with an XML doc comment instead. Okay, so 32 seconds there. And let's do the same thing here. The time to after the die have stopped moving to the time we force clear the dice. And so that's just this no matter what. It's going to be 1.7 seconds even if there's nothing in the queue. All right.
Yes.
I feel like it's working better.
Effectively, it's the time that you leave the viewer to be able to witness the text on screen without it being, cleared away completely.
Yeah. Let's try that. Let's also get rid of this annoying extra 0. Let's go look for that. There it is. Port on die roll is what's kicking this out. We want a breakpoint like right about here, I think, and then we'll get out, or maybe sooner. Let's roll it. Oh, look at this!
Wow!
Look out for the dice, man! Don't get my dice wet, Copper Beardy. All right.
Copper Beardy is in the house.
I think I'm going to do something like this. Hey, if the type is equal to die roll type.extra only, but we need the total, which we don't have until we get down a little bit lower, I think.
Well, can't you just kick out of the case branch if the value is 0? Is that not what you're intending?
Yeah, but I think that I got to figure out where the total is calculated, and it might be
I see.
Down below.
But isn't that the value that you're about to output, which is also in the switch case statement?
Yeah, it's not in the switch statement. It's down below. We're just setting role title equal to this piece. Role title comes down here and then gets here. So the role value, here's where we got role value. We need to calculate all of that. So I think here's a place to do it. If it's equal to extra only and role value is equal to 0, then we get out.
Okay.
I know what you're thinking. Geez, Mark, that's an awfully specific place. You know, you could refactor this message. And then what's going on? Do I have another role title reference down below? I do right here. Yeah, because it's a single player role instead, which is probably actually where this is, but I kind of need it there as well. That's what it looks like. And now I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, oh, Mark, we need to get you in some sort of therapy for developers. That's what we need to do.
To be fair, I'm not particularly familiar with this code, so I don't think I'm in any position to criticize in any way. I was assuming that you were building a string within the switch statement, and thus you could avoid doing the piece that was in that particular case based on being 0.
Yeah, no, I can't really. I don't think I can because we determine the total later. To refactor the method, I'd have to get the total first, which I can do. Then and it would be cleaner. Let's at least do this. We'll put a to-do in there for us. You know, let's refactor this, kids. Let's refactor this, kids. Okay. So let's do a test and see if that rabbit hole is at least now apparently clean. So I'm going to put 3 out there. So 1 roll is rolling now. I've got 2 in the queue. And then I'm going to try throwing 1 out. Oh, we don't need this breakpoint anymore. So we're looking for, as soon as the dice stop rolling, about 1.5 seconds after that, we're looking for
Here comes roll 2.
the cleanup. So now about 1, now they should clean up. And then, cool. And a new one. This new one, the delay for the new one is, I think it's canon.js. Or did I just not hit it as many times as I thought?
Well, I don't see a third one coming. Whether that's a code's fault or the lack of a button push, I don't know.
Let's do it right now. Ready? And you can confirm by looking up here, right up here on the left edge. There will be, hold on. There will be green confirmation rectangles that's for each time I hit the button. So you'll see 1, 2, 3 like that. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay,
sure.
3. There are 3 there. So let's make sure we got all 3 rolls. 1. And we should also in our history log throw the queue out of what we should throw that queue piece out there, the queue, right? Oh, we got an interrupted. Oh, Rory.
Now, I'm going to say that we still haven't discounted the possibility that the flaw exists in what you might refer to as sequence 2. Right? So we threw out what we thought were 3 dice, or 3 sets, which I would have called sequence 1, and that appeared to work, notwithstanding the absence of a third roll, right, which we think may have been different. But you then went on and did a second sequence, and we've seen the second sequence be interruptible before, where the first one didn't seem to be.
Yeah. So take a look at this, though. We are definitely getting multiples of all dice destroyed.
Yeah.
That could be problematic. Especially if we're taking action in this. Stopped rolling, we seem to get consistently only 1. All dice destroyed, we're getting multiples. I suggest we store the last ID, and if we get a second one, we ignore it. I think it's a quick fix if there's any actionable items that might be... I'm trying to remember. I don't remember if we got that. Let's go take a look in here and all dice destroyed. All dice destroyed. Yeah, we're doing this. We're dequeuing the next viewer roll. This could be it. right here.
Yeah.
All right, so let's do this. I think this is it. I think this is our bug fix right here. This is causing the problem, I think, because we're getting multiples of this coming down from the TypeScript file. Now, we can also go after the TypeScript file, but this is a pretty easy, because we've got now role IDs, a unique good with every role, we can just simply say, is this the last one? We're going to ignore it.
Yeah.
Okay? So if we get down to here, we're going to say, we're going to do something like this. Well, let's set a breakpoint, and let's get in here. Good job, by the way,
That does
Rory.
feel like a bit of a code smell, though.
This was key in figuring this out, I think, from my perspective. Yeah, it's a code
In
smell.
theory, it does
that,
give it a nice uniqueness to it. But I'm concerned that we're going to ignore that the event is being thrown 3 times rather than prevent it being thrown 3 times.
Yep. Seeing multiple. What is it called again? All dice destroyed. Destroyed events. I agree with you. Coming from the TypeScript file. We can go look into it. It's another rabbit hole. I was just trying to save us from extra rabbit
Fair
holes.
enough.
But let's go look into it. We're going to go take a look really quickly now. Let's start
Really
with,
quickly.
Let's go into connection. And it is all dice have been destroyed. Here's the call. All dice should be destroyed by now. We got a timeout that happens in 3 seconds. It's only in this timeout. This timeout is happening in this situation here. Num dice still in play is equal to 0. And all dice have stopped rolling and still scaling, not still scaling. And so we get into this situation, and animation should be done as true. So that means we should never get in a second time.
Yeah.
Unless somehow we say animation should be done is equal to
Is this
false.
binding this again?
When we roll the new dice, here's what's happening. And we roll the new dice and we set this back to false without maybe resetting the num dice still in play.
Right.
Well, actually, that's calculated right here. Dice remaining in play, which goes through all the dice and checks to see if they're in play yet or not. I'm thinking. So theoretically, at first glance, it looks like this shouldn't be a problem, but I'm thinking we need to move this down after we build all the die up, which is we do prepare. It should be at the end of prepare values, I think, is animation should be done, set to false. We've got a couple things that exit here. Need to roll add-on dice. This throw additional dice. This is like for a secondary count. I think I want to create a second Boolean that says throw started.
Is this a problem because, well, okay, so this is the dice roller file, right? And thus
Yes.
the dice roller class, which used to be global and
Yep.
is now a class we instance. Do we instance it only once, or do we instance it for each set of dice that we roll?
We instance it twice. Once for player dice that happen up above, and once for viewer dice, which happen below.
So that's fine. So, but for one of those areas, one of those places in which dice can happen, a single dice roller maintains knowledge of all the rolls. Therefore, any top level field such as these needs to be applied to all sequential rolls. So for example, the first time you roll dice, all of these get set accordingly as you go through. If you then have a second set of dice, they will start rolling with the values being as they were when the last set finished. There's kind of a state carryover within the roller.
Right. There is. And
Now-
so that state is reset. So for example, the state is reset in different methods inside of here. So in please roll dice, we initialize the state at the beginning. This is the entry point to starting a new roll.
Okay, and so long as the second roll only actually kicks off after the first one has indeed finished, we shouldn't get rolls interfering with each other.
Yes, absolutely.
That's one of the benefits of having the queue.
Yes.
Trying to prevent that.
That's right.
Okay.
That is correct. The other thing that's interesting
in our
about
second
this...
example, that's definitely not happening. We know one of them is interrupted, so the fourth one does interrupt the third.
Right, and it's because we're getting that extra message out is what we're getting. Just to review that, animation should be done. What happens is this gets called multiple times. Right? That's what's happening.
But it appears to only happen in the second batch of rolls, as if something happened in the first batch of rolls to allow it.
I don't think that's true.
No?
I think the first one, I think so let's just try right now. Let's do one roll. Let's go here. Let's clear this out and let's play it. I think we're going to see multiple ends. So we're rolling 759A, and I think we're going to see multiple destroys.
Okay.
We'll see if that's the case.
Certainly a good thing to look
There's
for.
stopped rolling. There's 1, 2. I got 2, 3.
Okay.
So we're getting 3 of them.
That's
4 of them.
Actually got 4. So that's good. That's our smallest possible sort of unit of recreation, and it's relatively consistent, which is good. So again, that should be analyzable.
Yeah. So what's happening here? What seems to be happening is this animation should be done. We're setting to true, because once that's set to true, we're not coming in here anymore. And this is our update physics loop. Okay. So
Yes.
we're in a loop. Okay, so there's state is super important because the way the dice roll as well, it's all in a loop, right? They're all existing in this three-dimensional space. So somebody's setting that to false. And let's go look at it one more time. Remove remaining die. We set it to false. All dice should be destroyed by now. Do we call remove remaining die here? Nope, it's just simply that we're sending the signal R command right back out. So
okay, what if we change that field so that it's instead a property, and then we can go if being set to false, break.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea. We could do that. Although it's a big pain in the butt. I want to try and solve that without that. But yes,
Okay.
if it were C#, I would totally do it. It's just there's so much overhead. I've got to shut everything down. It's like 5-minute overhead to
true.
pursue that.
Yeah.
And I think we can solve it without doing that.
Okay.
Let's go look at remove remaining dice. I want to see if it's called from any kind of timer. Whoops. No, it's not. It appears not to be. What's this? On die roll stop. Okay. So I think I want to do a throw started is what I want to do. And I want to have it be an additional check inside of here. And so what I want to do is I want to say, we'll go ahead and say throw started to false there. But when we actually start, when we get out of prepare values, right in there, then I want to say throw started is equal to true.
Okay.
Then there was one other place where I think the throw could be started, but actually I don't think we need to worry about it. Anywhere I've got a return here. So this is a low-level queue down here. That's not anything that I'm worried about right now, and I'm not sure if it actually is. This is just that we get multiples in a row, but I'm not actually sure if this is working. I don't think it is because I've seen evidence of interruptions happening here. Let's see. Need to roll add-on dice. Throw additional dice. throw additional dice. So we come in here. This is when we freeze existing dice. Yeah, I don't think this is where we don't want to set it here. And then, okay, so if that's the case, we don't want to set it there, then throw is started. Then now I want to come down here and I want to say if this dot throw is started and the rest, then I want to set throw is started to false. And I'm suspecting there's a shot that this will reduce that extra coming back.
Okay.
That's what I'm suspecting, because I think what's happening is this is getting set to false in a place when we're not expecting it. Like through this call, for example. Remove remaining dice or something else. Please roll dice call again. And we haven't actually gotten past this point to start, because it's in that physics update loop. We come in here and whatever reason things don't work out, like we're running a throw already, we queue it, but then we come back in and we say, okay, we're dice have stopped rolling. And then up above in C# land, we say, oh, well, dice stopped rolling. Let's go ahead and clear the dice. And so let's try now. So we're just going to do one, and we're hoping to see one message coming back when it's done. There's one. Let's clear the breakpoints. We just look at the history. Oh, that looks better.
That looks good.
Way better. Okay, good. Thanks, Roy, for keeping me on track here. You know, I was
No problem.
I'm always like estimating what's the cost of that. All right, one more time. So A8DA is coming out. Stop rolling. One. A8DA coming back. Good. And there's the destroyed. So we're getting one of each of those coming out there. All right. Yeah. Let's do...
Now was the attempt to interrupt. So you throw one out there, and then partway through, you throw another and see is it allowed to.
I'm putting two out right over there. Two.
Okay.
And then I let one... So this is a reproducible piece from before, where when the second one comes, I force a third one out. And now it's when I try to force it. And it looks like it's queuing it. It did not appear to be interrupted. So
that
now
seems like, yeah.
We should see one more, and that'll prove that it did not get interrupted. Okay. There it is right there.
And in the history there, a nice consistent set of events for each and every item.
Yeah. There it is, Rory. Rory, you saved the day again, buddy.
No.
You saved the day, man.
I do like my diagnostics.
Yeah, no, it's good.
He's awesome.
There you go. He's awesome.
Dance battle.
Roy's our savior. He's definitely our savior today. Look at that, Roy. Yeah, good job. Good job keeping me on track. I loved how you were like, it's kind of a code smell, Mark. And I'm like, yeah, okay. All right, good. So now we're out to, let me just re-edit this so it's back. Because I was kind of doing some stress tests here. I was saying, well, let's throw 4 D12s out 12 D12s, because I just was, because it takes longer for them to settle when we do that. So this is what it should be, just 4 D4s like that. All right, good. Okay, next, visualizing the queue. Visualizing the queue. All right, so we got to figure out how we're going to send the data down. How are we going to send the data down through the Hubtastic base station? We do have this command in here. I think it's called card command. There it is right there. Card command. Oh no, not Rory. Everybody hide. Pretend we're not here. Wait, what? Wait, whoa. Rory, what should your fanfare do? I don't have a Rory fanfare yet. I like that. That's a good fanfare. We got to figure out something. Part of the problem is that I can't think of anything that, is amazing enough to match the level of amazing that Rory's bringing when he gets here. Rory says,
Careful when you put people on platforms that high. They
Really?
tend to fall off.
Really? Let's see what happens. It's like, hide your wallet, fanfare, when Karen arrives. Yeah, you're right. I need that. Hide your wallet. I need one of those. She's here. Look out. That's the one I need for Karen when she comes in. We just need a Skype integration. Skype integration? What? Oh, so you can see Rory? Okay, so let's see. I want to go. So we need to send a card command out. Yes. Currently, we're sending a card DTO object out. Card DTO looks like this, which has got, is that right? Is that really what we're sending out? Hold on. EA.cardDTO, card purchased. Let's see, any other card commands, calls? Yeah, it's all sending a card DTO. But which is a card hand DTO. Is that true or no? Hold on. Is it true every time? I thought this was something different. It is different. It's a card DTO. So we're sending different things down in the card command call. That's interesting. That means that, let's go find it down here. It's expecting a card hand DTO. So what's going on? Oh, hold on. Send card command is there. And we've got Streamloot's card redeemed and card purchased calls here.
Is this the distinction between a card you're intending to create and a card that exists that you're getting as an answer? I.e., one of them won't have an ID and the other will, or detail about its creation?
No, I don't think so is the answer. I'm actually curious as to whether we're actually sending these, because the code down below, we're doing a JSON parse here expecting to get a card hand DTO. That's what we're expecting to which has individual pieces here. But we're clearly not sending it over in this call and in this call. In this call, we're sending over just a card DTO. So I'm going to set breakpoints here. Now that you can, because we're using JSON, JSON can kind of like, oh, you know what, I'll match up the properties I can find. And, so it could be that this is all working and like, in other words, the code is executing. But let's see what happens when we choose play card. I almost have a feeling we're not going to hit the breakpoints. Oh, no, we do. What is going on? And there it is. We send it over. And it's definitely a card DTO. It's got a card ID, a character ID. Okay, let's run it. Let's go figure out what's going on the other side of this thing here. I think I want to do this. And then I want to do this. Is what I think I want to do. Whoops, let's do it down there. And then I want to see that. Let's just double check that. Yeah, that is only call right there, card command. Let's throw this up inside of a browser window.
Mm-hmm.
Get my inspect over there. Refresh. Send some data. What do we get in console? So hold on.
Did we get anything?
I'm trying to figure that out. Card stir is what I'm looking for. Oh, it's in front game. My bad.
Oh, right.
Okay. Okay, let's send the data. Okay, there it is. We got the card stir right here. And we got it. Wait, I'm super confused. We got a command show card coming in. Card hand DTO. I'm like so not understanding this right now. I need more data, I guess, clearly. So here we go. Here's card redeemed right here. Yeah, let's stop here. Let's set a breakpoint there, and we'll try to get a closer look at what's happening here. All right. Wait, I hit F10 and the dice started rolling. I didn't quite understand that. Let's try that again. F10. Now it's working. All right, so we got the card ID. Don't have a JSON viewer on that thing. Okay.
All right.
All right, so that looks like a card DTO object to me. It does not look like a card hand DTO object though. Is card hand DTO a descendant of this? Aha!
Yes.
That's why.
So we
it
would
works.
expect a lot in common between them then. That makes sense.
Yeah, okay, now it makes sense. Now I'm not so upset, and okay. So, all right, so
what is the intended purpose of each, normally?
Each of the
The card
ancestor and the
DTO
descendant?
versus, yeah.
So the descendant has an additional property called hands, which is going to have a list of Streamloot hands, of Streamloot's hands, which has an ID for the character, whether the hand is shown or not, the selected card, the cards to play, cards to reveal. This is all the code we wrote about 2 weeks ago, I think, Rory, for handling all the cards that are given to players, which is another component as well, in addition to the cards that are immediately played. So that's all that's going on there. I see it. So okay, now that makes sense and is working for me. I had that in the back of my head, but I should have verified that sooner because I felt like that delay of finding it was not my favorite. Okay, so all right, so we're back to where we were talking about before. We're kind of orienting ourselves in here. We've got this call to card command, which will take in a card DTO or card DTO descendant. I think what I want to do is I want to create a descendant of this that holds the queue.
Just let me check some logic a second, Mark. If we're receiving a card purchased event, then we should expect that to be a card DTO because as yet it's not been given to a character. And we'll ultimately convert it into a card hand DTO as it is added to their hand.
If it's a card that is delivered to a player.
Okay. That makes sense.
But it could also be a card that's played immediately, in which case it's given to no hand at all. Or it could be a card, it's a card that's played immediately. So, yeah.
Cool.
Is that all? That was a question? That was it?
That was it, yep. No, I was just, again, orienting myself, as it were, within the the domain space.
All right, since we're doing this kind of, so here's the thing. We got a little bit of code smell in my suggestion here. I'm just totally playing out our conversation in the future in my head, and I don't win. I don't win that conversation, Rory. But it goes like this. It's like, well, look, since we've got card DTO and we're sending that down, we need to now send out a different set of data. And because it's so, generally hard, there's so much overhead in adding a new command, right? What I'm thinking is, let's, there's this descendant here. It's so interesting, this card. It's going, what we're doing here is we're parsing to the descendant is what we're doing. Kind of almost expecting that to be there in it.
Yeah, see, the problem is card command is kind of a generic routine that is potentially called in a number of places. And it could be that the data coming in is a card DTO, but it could also be a card hand DTO. And so when we parse it here, we're giving it into the type that has the most data of the two. Thus, we're giving it a place to be. But if it was not intended to be a card hand DTO, it will be missing some of that information.
Yep. It will
and as
be.
you quite rightly pointed out, if we have a slightly more complicated hierarchy later on, what happens if we have a descendant that isn't from card hand DTO, but is in fact another parallel sibling to it? Now you've got a choice to be made, and actually there's no class that can contain all that set of data.
Yeah.
So that strategy won't continue to work.
Well, I think it will actually, because JSON is flexible enough that it'll be able to handle it. But I kind of feel like I'm kind of also playing with, well, what's the command? Based on the command, then we do the JSON parse into the correct type. But I don't know. I guess I was thinking like something like this, like if, and I guess, I'm spending enough time trying to work through this that it's almost like, let's create something new. Wait, hold on. Is there another way to do this? Yeah, I think I want to update card command is what I think I want to do. And I want it to take two pieces, the data and a string that's the actual command. So we check to see what the command is first. Based on that, we're going to do the appropriate line of code here that parses the expected data. That's the most flexible way to do this, unfortunately. But it's going to require restarting stuff is what it's going to require. So let's do a search for card command. Whoops, it's already there. Go through the sole solution. And everywhere we find card command, we're going to change it to be command followed by my data stir, like that. That's what we're changing this to.
Does the existing card DTO have the command name in it?
Yes, it does. I'm going to take it out.
You could do what you're doing. I mean, just as an alternative, not sure which one is better, but you could do the deserialization to a card DTO, read the command from it because it'll be there, and then on the basis of it being something else, like a card hand DTO, you discovering that it needs to be, you deserialize it into that type and pass that on to the command. That way you don't need to pass it in to the command.
Yeah.
It's a self-discoverable fact, but it requires two deserializations.
Yeah, I think you're right. I'm going to go back to that. I was kind of playing with that, and as you were talking about that, I thought of, I could do it in this elegant way. So I kind of thought of an elegant, semi-elegant way to do it. Let's go search. Let's go after that one. Card hand DTO is here. We're going to instead create a new class here called card command DTO. Yeah, I like this better. We're going to throw command up there. Okay, so all it needs to do is have one property in it.
Yep.
Command. Okay. Then
is this going to be an ancestor to card DTO?
Yes, it is. Thanks for saying that because I almost forgot to do it. Okay, good. Now we're going to go find card hand DTO, and we're going to change that to card command DTO. We call this card command DTO. And then we're going to say...
That did not rename.
Yeah, thanks. I think because I failed to hit rename. There we go. And now we've got all this check on the pieces, and then we of course need to fix this up a bit. And I'm just trying to, make this not repeat so many steps all the way down, but for now I'm going to do that, and we'll kind of figure our way around that later.
I mean, to some extent, we're making this method more complicated so that we can make the usage of it, or retain the simplicity of its current usage. Yeah,
that's correct. So we're going to call this the card hand DTO. This is card hand DTO, like that. And then we're going to throw in that and that, like that. That's what that's going to look like.
Yes.
Okay. And then we're going to do the same thing down here. Same thing down
C Films has joined us in the chat room.
Hey, C Films. Welcome, my friend. How you doing? And then we do this. Now, okay, good. A little more work here, but now we get something more elegant. We don't have to tear everything apart in terms of signal R. Yes. That's a good suggestion, Rory. Thanks for that. So now I've got card command DTO. Now we want to create another descendant of this thing. We're going to say class, call this the card Q DTO. And that's going to extend card command. And then we got to figure out what's in the card queue. Well, I think we kind of want to come up here. We're debugging. I'm going to kill the app here a second. Let's start working on that, what we're going to build here. So we have this viewer queue roll here. And it's got a bunch of dice rolls in it.
Okay.
Here's what I think I want. Let's create a new class called a viewer roll DTO. And I'm pausing to hit that button because I like my class name on that. So we got that, and inside there we're going to put in the viewer name, the name, and I think the role.
Okay.
That's what I think. Then we're going to is that all I need to display? Maybe the color, the die color.
So this is the class of which there will be a queue.
Right,
and this represents one.
Yes, and so I was showing the spec for this over here, and so this is the idea. We'll have 20 of these going in this space right here that you're seeing there on the side, right side. Number 1 in the queue goes there. Number 20 goes up there. That's what we're building. So what I need to show is the name of the person. I think their color. I think it'll be in their color, their die color. And I'm thinking about also showing what their die roll is, a text version of it, of what their die roll is. So that's the roll string here, whatever you want to call that, like 4D12 or something. I'm thinking about that. Okay, so now that's what I need. So I need a new class now, which is going to be my card queue DTO, like that. And this is going to have a list of these.
All right, maybe I'm missing something. What's the logic behind a card queue which contains a queue of viewer roles? Have we got the wrong noun here somewhere? Or have I just missed the link?
We're changing that up. Interesting, I just hit rename and nothing happened. Hold on a second. Let me just report a quick issue here. Hey kids, just look back. I just did a rename and there's this weird thing where the file kind of readjusted itself, but nothing else happened. It was almost as if maybe they thought I chose that, but no, I hit rename and nothing happened. I'm trying to figure that out. Did I accidentally choose that? Roll back and see if I did. No, I clearly did not do that. No, let me undo that. Okay. All right, cool. Yeah, I just tried to do a rename. Look at the logs, see what's going on there. I'm not sure what's going on with the logs, but rename. I want to say burped. Meaning it was kind of like, what? What was that? Okay, so card queue DTO. Let's rename it. To viewer queue DTO. And then let's do the same over here. Make it that instead.
Okay.
And it's going to have a command inside of it. Like that. And I think we're going to initialize this. Is that right? Or maybe not. Maybe I'll just build it and add it. I'm not exactly sure. I think what I want to do, I want to pass in when I construct a new one of these is this. A roll queue like this. A queue of die rolls like that. That's what I think I want to do. Do I got a two lists on here? Sweet. So then I'm going to come in here. See, that is equal to, oh, but I got to select something completely different. Is there, do I have a for each available inside of a queue? Looks like I might. Okay, cool.
Interesting.
So let's create a new instance of that. Get that wrong. View role DTO. Viewer role DTO. Hold on. I have that on the clipboard. Yeah. It's not getting the right type. Here's another quick issue here. Take a look at this. I've got this on the clipboard. Right? I've got that variable in the clipboard. I'm going to come in here, type in inst and a comma, and it gives me this. But isn't inst is for the variable, right? Yeah. Here it figures out the string for command. So figure out what's going on with there. Why didn't it get that type there for viewer role DTO? I think I've actually reported this bug before because the name of the variable is the same as the type. If I copy that to the clipboard and now type in inst, it gets it right. Yeah, so there's the bug, kids. If the name of the variable is the same as the name of the list element type, it gets the type wrong when I do ninst. Watch. See, it gets the type wrong. That's the bug. Let's see. Let's get all that in there. Issue ninst, and I've reported this before. Issue when prop name matches list type name. Okay. All right, kids. Let's get on that. I want that fixed. Okay. Anyway, sorry, kids. Back to, we're dog fooding Code Rush. It's why I'm doing all this. And then we're going to come down in here. We're going to say this dot add. We're going to say new. Why is it? Do I have two viewer role DTOs? I don't think so. Nope. Let me say I don't. New that. And we're going to say name is equal to dice roll dot, whoops, dice roll dot, do I have a username here? Oh, I don't have a username. I can find it, but it's deep inside dice roll. All right, we're going to get it. We'll find it is what we're going to do because we actually need the other data too. It's deep inside. So when we're doing the queued up roles, Rory, let's see. Dice roll dot dice DTOs. So we're going to go in here. We're going to say, we throw the data in here. We get one of these for each die. Okay. Details.count is greater than 0. Come on. Which will be true for all of these. I know this is going to be true because we just wrote that code to do it. But I'm still got the defensive code up there. So now I'm going to come in here and say, let's go get dice roll DTOs of 0. Let's get that first one in there. Should clear a new local for that. And then now we're going to say, we're going to go in and say viewer roll DTO dot name is equal to dice DTO dot label, I think. And then we're going to set die color is equal to dice DTO back color. And then we're going to say the roll string. This one's a little trickier. The roll string is, I don't know about that. Maybe a call to get roll string from sending out the dice DTOs to it. Then we're going to just simply call add there. Now we got to just do this. Get roll string. So here we've got, do we have a sides? So now what we need up here is we need to have I think a new dictionary of int indexed indexes, int indexed integers. These are going to be the, we're going to keep track of all the sides and count them is what we're going to do. Dice sides found. Okay,
an int indexed list of ints.
Yeah.
Is that not just an array of int?
No, because we're indexing by sides, and the number of sides are going to go from 4 to 6 to 8, 10, 12.
I see. So we're not expecting to have the whole continuum of values.
Yeah,
That's fair.
yeah, I could do the whole one, but a bunch are going to be empty, and
Sure, no, that's a waste, and it's just more data to get in the way, irrelevant data to get in the way at that point.
Yeah, I don't know.
So
The code might be cleaner because I'd initialize them all to zeros, and then I just plus equal. But my thoughts are, it's the logical way of doing this. I like a little bit better because it also helps out if I, well, I don't know. It's just a little more efficient. If
I think you're right. No,
right.
Your justification is good.
Okay, so if we already contain the key sides, then we're going to say this dot dice found, sorry, of sides equals plus equals. Can I do a plus equals here with a dictionary?
Yes, believe so.
1. And then otherwise, we're going to say dot add of sides, comma 1. All right, so that's going to count them up for us. You agree with that, Rory?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, now that we're there, then we come down and we want to say, we want to find all our keys, and then we want to do a for each on all the keys, like that. And then we're going to say the die stir is equal to die sides found of key. That's going to be the value. And what we want to do is we want to do an interpolated string here, which is going to be key, like how many die were found, like 4D4 or 4D8 or 4D12. So 4 would go there, then the letter D, and then this. Okay, that's the die string right there. And then we want to say, we want to have our result equal that to string dot empty, like that. And then here we're going to say string result plus equals die string plus that.
Yep.
Is what I think. And then at the end, if result dot ends with comma separator, Then we're going to say result is equal to results dot substring 0 comma result dot length minus 2. Let's do this dot length like that, and then now let's take this. Oops, let's get a semicolon out of the end, and let's declare constant for that right there, because it's got it showing up 3 different times. Oh, not there. I wanted it to be a local constant. Introduce constant. Oh, wow, they did the same thing. Oh, I did the wrong one here. Hold on. Okay. It's taking a long time to get to the menu choice I want here. Yeah, we used to have declare local constant, but then Visual Studio did this, I think. That's what I'm looking for there. Okay, good. And now we're going to say the, we'll call this comma separator. And now we've got result, and we're going to return result. Okay, get roll string. We want to set a breakpoint there.
Yeah.
Next. We want to execute card command whenever the queue changes. All right. So let's create a new method here called wait for dice roll. Wait for roll, maybe.
Okay.
That's a nice function.
Okay. And thanks, Mr. Announcer Guy. And so I just have one entry point right here. And then we're going to say, call update viewer queue, update in-game viewer role queue, like that.
Yep.
Okay. Declare that method, pop that in there. I'm gonna drop a marker. I want to still look at all. I want to get wrappers around anything that we're dequeuing here. So let's do this. Extract this method into get next viewer role, like that. And then we're going to call the same update in-game viewer role queue. Let's see where else we've got this showing up. Yeah, it looks like we're protected. Okay, so we update after we add it. And I think we got to update it. We need to change the order of this right here. So introduce a local for that. There's my dice roll. The dequeue, now I can update it right there. Okay, there's my update call. And then where's the code I was just writing right up here? It's here, so we want to basically create a new one of these. So we'll say new viewer queue DTO, pass in the viewer role queue, like that. And let's go find card command. Just get that bit of code. And we're going to pass in this. We need to set the command. Let's go to JSON convert.
Can you scroll down just a little bit, Mark?
You
Fred's
bet.
getting in the way there a
No
little
worries.
bit there.
Thanks.
Cool. Thank you.
Okay, cool. No, and no, thank you. And we need to make sure in our constructor that we need to set the command equal to. Actually, I think I can just do it here. It's almost like a constant here. Update queue. Update viewer role queue. Maybe I'll do it all like this. Okay?
Yep.
Boom. All right, down in overlays. Okay. If card command DTO dot command equals that.
Yep.
Let's get an else right up here. Then we're going to say something bigger, looking like this a little bit. We call this viewer role queue DTO.
Yep.
Let's go to that. All right.
Good.
And then we're going to say maybe card manager dot update viewer role queue. Okay, we're going to send it some data, which we're going to need to throw out in a second. I'm just thinking about the implementation of it. I don't have a strong sense of what that is yet. We also need to fill out this class right here. We need to base it on the pieces we've already built.
We need to base it on the one on the server side that we built.
Yeah, so we've got these two properties are here coming into viewer queue DTO. So basically, well, we get command from the ancestor, so we don't need that. We just have basically a list of these of the
and that's an
roles.
array on this side.
Yeah, so va dot slash should give me that right there, and it's called that. Is that right? Is that what it's called? It's called the viewer role DTO. Yeah, it's got the exact same name as the type. Okay, no big deal. Come in here, create a new class called viewer role DTO, and here, as I recall, we had
a name, we had a role string.
Whoops, hold on. VS.
We had a color.
Name. And we had a the role. Was it rollster is what we called it?
I think so.
And then we had color. Like that. Let's go double check it.
Yeah. Name, die color, and roll string.
Okay, cool. All right, let's move some classes to their own files. So we've got things kind of where they should be.
Mm-hmm.
Card command somehow got changed. I guess you know what it was? The bug I reported? I didn't choose rename. I chose rename file to match type. I thought I selected rename. I still would like the devs to look very closely at that because I thought my eyes were on rename. I'd like it in slow motion. That's what I think was going on with that one. That rename. When I said rename burped, that's the email. I'll go look into that. I'll check that one and look into that later. Okay, so we've got these in their separate places. We have this code down here. We just now need to...
We need to implement the update viewer role queue, passing in the viewer role queue DTO, and implement the effect.
Yeah. Here's where we need to kind of figure this out. So I'm not exactly sure yet how I'm drawing this. Part of the reason why I'm not sure is because, we've got things changing. So, like, if I'm just going to, maybe I'll put this down near the very end here, so it'll be easy to get to while we're in development on it. So one of the things I'm thinking about is having a text effect. So I use a text effect to show everybody's name.
Okay.
So now what happens if, I think I'm going to do that.
See, the interesting thing is that you're passing you're calling a command that says update the role queue, and it's passing the whole of the queue again. So if you've got 10 items in the queue as it stands, and you call this, we know in theory that you should be adding somebody to the queue. That the 10 items in there will maybe exist. Maybe one of them's been processed already.
Yeah.
Right. And this new queue is coming in, and we're expecting a new item at the top end, so to speak. So there's a kind of a few calculations to do. You can't rely on all the incoming data being correct, because you may have dealt with some of it. Or that's not necessarily true, is it? Because we're dealing with it on both sides. So when we process the thing at the head of the queue, the server will know that's happened, right? This is purely a rendering exercise.
No, I think you were right the first time, is that we're going to have problems. And the reason it's problems is because I want to animate the movements of the names as they go down, right? So I need to do that. I've already got this thing called credit text, which is an animations class. Mm-hmm. Wait, why are we initializing here though? What's coming in here? The text animations? These are all text animations. All the parenting text animations are coming in from Dragon Front Came into the card manager. Oh, okay. I'm going to rename this to parent text animations. That's what I'm going to call this. So currently we're doing this, we're adding text for credits. So the credit being, we're crediting the name of the user who played the card.
Yes.
And then we hide them as well. We are binding the character ID in the data property for it. Hide credits for, that's the character. What we're going to want to do is put something else in the data, is what we're going to have to do. So the parent text animations are here. All right, fine. So what I want to do is I think I want, let's see. I want code that goes like DTO. I think I want a for each on the elements of the DTO, which, as I recall, it's got the same class name. So it's going to be the viewer role DTO like that. And then I want to say something like, I'm going to rough out the code here. So in terms of what I think it's going to look like, the shape of it, basically it's going to be, hey, look, if this dot has shoot, we got a problem. It's not enough to do this. We need to also put in, we need to also have the ID of the role. Because I could have one player who plays multiple cards, and all of these might be the same. The role ID is going to be the differentiating piece right there. So we need to find that. The role ID is equal to the dice roll. Yeah, the dice roll dot roll ID. Okay?
Yep.
Which means we need to get to you and do that. So now we got the role ID in there. Good. Okay. Is missing role. Is Q missing role? Like this. Then, and we're going to say the role ID. Then we need to add this dot add role to Q.
I'm really not sure. What happens if you've previously queued up 1, 2, and 3, roles 1, 2, and 3, and because somebody has decided to add a role to that, they've created 4, and so now the server sends down the message, update the queue 1, 2, 3, 4. But in the interim period of time, role 1 has executed and been bounced. So now what you have is an incoming queue that says 1, 2, 3, 4, and an existing queue that says 2, 3. Both 4 and 1 will be deduced as missing.
Yeah.
And you're going to add them back in. So 1, despite having happened and been removed, it's going to be re-added. Because the server doesn't know it's expired, or didn't at the moment it sent the message.
We're not. We're not removing anything from the queue in TypeScript. We're going to keep that queue. It's a display-only kind of thing. We're not making any logic on it. So,
okay. So we will have sent a separate queue that said 2, 2, and 3, and then sent one that said 2, 3, 4.
Yeah. Right.
Okay, that's fine then.
So, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do right here. I'm going to, before we do the for each and get down here, I'm going to set found to false for all of these. Is what I'm going to do for each one of these entries. Although I think logically I could just set it here. Is that right? Yeah. Is that true? I think it's the same functional code here. Let's go declare this. So we set false found to false. If it is the queue is missing, then we add it to it. Then I think we want to do is queue missing the role. Doesn't have it, then we're going to add it to the role. Okay. No, this is wrong. Sorry, this is wrong. I need to do this. I need to have a separate list down below, and I need to set it in my existing. This has got to be like existing viewer role dot found. This has got to be inside of for each of a for each across my across the list that I'm storing down below.
This is all because we're hoping to, this is the optimal way of doing it in terms of sort of CPU and what have you. So you might have 20 items, and rather than recreate, well, okay, you might have 19 items, and rather than recreate an entire queue, we'd prefer just to subtract the one that isn't supposed to be there.
Well, it's more than optimal, right? It's required, I believe, it's required because of the animation I want to create. I want animation that moves existing ones from where they are to the new location, right? And so
and so you need to keep track of things that are new versus things that are not.
Right. And so what I need to do is I first need to find anything that we haven't found, and that's missing. We need to fade that out, right? So anything that's not found at the end, we'll make disappear. Anything that's new, we're going to add it in here, and then at the so the final step is get everything in the right position.
Yeah.
It's
kind of a three-step process, which is, first of all, find the one that needs to go away, make it animate away, just fade out. Next up, find all the ones that are there but should still be there, that are going to be there but were already there, and move them down.
Yeah.
And then finally, throw the new one on the top.
All right, so let's think about what we need for down below. You could almost argue, where was that class? The dragon... is it up here? There it is, right there. Viewer role DTO. I'm going to throw, well, I could actually use the DTO itself. I could use the DTO. I need, or maybe...
We can't quite see that on screen again behind Fred.
No, thanks. Yeah, no, that's a good point. Or maybe create a descendant of it. Let's create a descendant of this. And this is going to be our viewer role queue entry. That's going to descend from viewer role DTO.
Yep.
What's wrong here? Oh, I did C#. Extends. There we go.
I have to say, I'm guilty of that same mistake all the time.
And what's my problem here? Oh, respects call to super. All right, better. Okay, so we're gonna have a list of these queue role entries. These are gonna track our animations. We're gonna need to track these. We're gonna need to have, I'm pretty sure we're gonna need a text effect. That's gonna be the animation we're going to hold on to. Oops, effect. There it is right there. At the very least, we didn't need that. And then is it in cards or is it in card command? No, I think it's in cards, down the bottom of cards. Yeah, it's down here. Okay, so here we need to that's going to be equal to an array of those.
Yeah. This is nice because we're distinguishing between the representation of the queue on the down below on the client side, and separately the information coming from the server, the DTOs, that expresses a calculable list of things that need to change about that queue. So there'll be a missing item, we'll detect that and get rid of it. There'll be items that are present that were already present which need to move, and there'll be one brand new item that doesn't yet exist, which is the one that needs to be, as I say, added on top.
Yeah,
and we're storing these facts in two different places, which makes it easier to keep track of what we have and haven't done.
Yeah, so here's my list of all the queue entries that are in here. So is queue missing role? We're going to pass in that role ID to it, and it's going to go through all of these and try to find it. So let's go implement that one first. And let's copy this code because that's going to be kind of useful, although I can't really do a for each because I can't return from a for each. So I need to...
Isn't there an any or an equivalent? I can't remember what the TypeScript is for that.
I don't know.
If there is anything like that.
Let's see if
there is. Maybe I'm imagining that.
I'm not seeing an any off of that thing. There's a filter. The callback returns the elements of an array that meet the condition of the specified callback function. So yeah, maybe we can do something like that. And I'm totally forgetting the syntax here. Is it this? And then such that I think I have to specify the type of it. Is that right? Do I have to throw something like this at it? I think inside the parens right there.
That feels... yes.
And then we're going to say role ID equals the passed in role ID. And I just want to try tab index reference on filter. Cool. Okay. What else have
I always find the C#, that is to say, I guess the link names, more intuitive than the JavaScript derived ones. Filter, to me, it feels like I'm going to return a restricted list of the ones that match this.
I think it does.
Is there not one that just asks, are there any that do match, and just returns ultimately a bool?
Well, I didn't see anything in there. I saw this.
I'm trying to find a...
I just figured we would do filter and then ask its link to make sure it existed.
Oh, that's fair. That would work.
That's what I was going to do, but you can do a search for this too online. I'm not seeing anything there. You want to do that for me? Throw in a
I'm just having a quick look. Yeah, it's
Thanks.
array functions effectively.
So this dot length and is greater than 0. So it's something like this. Is queue missing a role? Sorry, it's going to say return length is equal to 0. And I kind of want to take all of this and create a new local for this. I'm going to declare local on that. It's not getting the type, but I think it's going to be, I think it's going to return an array of these. Let's see if we get any errors on that. And then we're going to say found entries. And then I'm just going to come down here and return that is not equal to, or that and its length is greater, hold on, I'm getting close to this. Or, so we get nothing back. What's my problem here? Found entries is never reassigned, use constant. Okay. So that's my version of an any. Did you find anything that was close to that?
I'm still looking. I've found something called sum, as in SOME. I'm just starting to try and figure out if that maybe, because I figured, are there some things which do this? But
determines whether the callback function returns true for any element of an array. That's it.
Is that the one?
Yeah, that works.
Did you find better, Docs?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, it was IntelliSense. So
well, there you go.
Yeah, so we're just going to say has some. Okay, so we're going to say not some. Does not have any. Yeah, I think you're right about the naming.
Yeah.
I think your point
it's. I mean, I guess it's people just coming from a different perspective, a slightly different angle. I mean, you know, when said the correct way, it does make sense as a phrase, right? There are not some where this is the truth. That works.
Okay, fine.
It's just different.
They're not some. Okay. Okay, so if we're missing the role, then we want to add the queue to the role. Let's go do that. And then we need to remove any from that are in there. So we need to say this dot remove any. Oh, we got to remove any orphan cards. We're going to say any orphan viewer roles in the queue. Like that. And so with this, we're going to go in here. Do this viewer. Let's drop a marker here because I'm just seeing just down below here. I've got what I want. Come back there. All right, and now we're going to say if not viewer role DTO dot found. You know, we're going to have to do a for each on here, I think. A for loop here. Because we're going to actually need to splice entries out of this. And I want to go in reverse order, actually. So let's reverse the for loop here. I don't have a refactoring for it, do I? Looks like I don't. Okay. All right. So
it's interesting looking at the available APIs on an array. There is a pop command for the array, but it says it will remove the last item rather than the first item, which is what you'd expect in a queue.
Oh, there's a way to get the first one out. It's like a shift, I think is what it's called, or an unshift.
JavaScript has some wonderful naming conventions, don't you think?
We've used it before when we created a queue. I remember something about it, but I don't remember the specifics on it.
Fair enough.
So we need to, it's a splice call that we need. I forget what it is. Can you look that up for me and give it to me in the chat room, Roy? A splice.
Yeah.
I think it's splice to remove a selected index
There is
entry.
a splice. Changes the contents of the array by removing or replacing existing elements and/or new elements in place. So, you have a start, a delete count, and an item list, which is optional.
Is it slice or splice? I thought it was splice.
Splice, yes.
Yeah, that's what I want, splice. And so what am I passing in here? The start number,
First is where to start changing the array. Yep. There is a delete count, so number of items to remove.
I think that's it.
And I think that's it in your case, because the third item is things to put in. Right, a list of things to insert, and we don't want to do that at the moment.
I'm tabbing to Nick's reference on these, and we're seeing most of these are just like this. It's that, comma, 1. Okay, so cool. So that is remove this orphan.
Yep.
But also, we need to get rid of the text effect. Wait, I thought I had the text effect in here. Oh, not viewer role DTO. It's not this. It is...
We had a new one.
Viewer QDTO.
It's not the DTO. Is it? No, I didn't think it was the DTO. You explicitly made a type which descended, which was not a DTO.
You're right. I'm sorry. Existing viewer role. There it is right there. Viewer role Q entry. All right, I'll get it. Okay. Where's found? Found like it's...
Found was in the higher level.
Yeah, I don't think it needs to be in the higher level.
Yeah, we can probably move that down.
Yeah, it needs to go here. Okay, good.
There we go. And that's where the text effect will be found, so you should be fine there.
All right. Okay, so now we're going to go in and say get the text effect and say fade out now and throw it my favorite fade out time of quarter second. And then we remove it. So that's going to be faded out. Okay, so removing...
I get the feeling like we're closing in quite soon now and being able to see something. However, I unfortunately have run out of time. I'm going to have to take my leave and return and see you tomorrow.
Okay.
Sad, but it is the case.
I mean, I was thinking about all the
Excellent.
No, what we meant was that Rory was so
Unbelievable.
but we're not happy that he's leaving.
Cool story, bro.
All right.
Absolutely not.
All right, Roy. Thank you so much, my friend.
All right, bud.
We'll see you tomorrow.
Bye-bye.
Well, the music ended too soon. All right. Okay, so here we go. Yeah, we might be getting on something here that might just work. Okay. We got rid of the orphans here. Add role to queue. We still need to implement that. And then get everything in the right position is the last one we need to do. And we need to use parent text animations for that. Let's go in here and say this dot get move viewer role queue texts into position. Right there. Let's declare that. So we got two more methods to create here. That's going to work with that. Here. This one looks like it's good. We'll move that up there. Just kind of working on these right here. Okay. So add role to our internal queue. All right, so we, we still have to create the text effect as well, in addition to storing this data. All right, here we're going to say name, this dot name equals okay. So there's my initialize from right there. Okay. So we set that data up. Then we're going to need to create a new text effect. We need something like this. We need to specify where we're going to put it. I don't think I really care for now where I put it. I'm just going to throw it out at the middle of the screen for now. The text is going to be the lifespan is going to not be specified. So it will live forever. There will be no vertical thrust. What's the clock? Let's go find the clock font. Probably drawing somewhere on clock canvas. Wait, where's clock canvas drawn on? There it is, clock context. Draw in-game time. There it is. Okay. What are we in here? We're in the Dragon Front game, huh? All right. Okay. Shoot. It's not quite going to work for me. I need to take this part here. Clock font name is that I could do that. Okay. Back over to where I was. Font size is equal to, well, here we gotta need a few constants up here. I took a screenshot and took a look at the Y and the Y positions. The bottom is 435. So we're gonna say IQ top is equal to, did I say 435? Okay. And the IQ bottom is equal to 898. IQ height is equal to am I in card manager? I think I'm in card manager. Dot IQ bottom minus dot IQ top. So now we've got our IQ height. Then we're going to come in here. We're going to say our IQ font size is equal to height divided by the number of entries we want to be able to show. Num entries is equal to, let's say, 20. Okay, so now we got the IQ font size. So we're going to come in here and say the card manager .IQ font size. So now we have the font size for it. The font color is equal to there's the font color. The outline color, I think, is going to be not specified. And outline thickness we'll say is 0. So there'll be no outline color on this to offer any kind of contrast. Scale is, I guess, 1. No fade out time, I think. Fade in time, maybe. Pretty short. The text align is going to be the right. I think the baseline is going to be for baseline option. Alphabetic middle top hanging. I understand what alphabetic is for baseline. I don't think I want bottom because that includes descenders. I think hanging is what I want, but maybe I'm not sure. Hold on, let's go look at text baseline for JavaScript here, see what we can learn. Normal alphabetic baseline. Oh, maybe that is what I want. Interesting. Alphabetic is what I want. Interesting. Okay. So there's our baseline. The data, we want that to equal what are we going to do here? I don't know if we need the data to equal anything. It's kind of what I'm thinking now. Here I'm having it kind of point back to us, but I don't think we need that. No target scale, no auto scale factor per second. This is going to be viewer name, we'll call this. And then what I want to do is I want to say viewer role DTO. Nope. Nope. Sorry, I want it to be viewer role Q entry. Dot text effect is equal to this. We're only going to keep track of it from the Q entry. It'll store its relationship to it. And then we're going to add it to our list of entries. So the positioning is, we'll figure that out. Shoot. I think we need another piece of data. This list is going to contain its position in the queue. Can't convert to a 4, huh? I'm going to add an index so I know where its position should be. No, not what I wanted to do. Why can't I find that? What's going on up here? Let me rename this. I can't rename it? Something doesn't smell right to me. The fact that I was missing some refactorings. Oh, sorry. Because of that right there. Now I can probably rename it. Okay, all right. Really interesting though that I don't have convert to for loop there. Okay, so now I've got this queue position piece in here. Let's go find roll string over here. Okay, there's my queue position. Okay. So that's going to be brought over from what we send down. Let's incorporate the here's my roll string right there. So it's going to be right aligned. We still haven't figured out that place where we're going to put it yet, but there's the text that pops it up. So this is going to add the roll to the queue. Now I'm pretty sure that when I add the text, this says center position here, but I'm pretty sure this is just the X and Y. I think that's misnamed. And ultimately the X and Y, yeah, we're inside an animated element now at this point. It's just the X and Y for it. And that in the case of text, it's still going to, it'll all work in terms of getting on the right side of there. So I think what I want to do is I want to make this 1080 and this be a call to get entry Y. Get Q entry Y. And I want to pass in viewer role Q entry dot Q position. That's what I want to do. So let's declare that. It's kind of interesting, right? We're writing code for usually it seems like about an hour. We've been writing code. No testing yet. There's a chance we could test this and it could kind of all work. Wouldn't that be sweet? Okay, so we're passing in a Q position here. So the Q position is equal to, where are those constants we declared? Here they are right here. It's going to be equal to diQ bottom minus diQ font size times, I think, Q position. That's what I think. Okay. Next, I think we're down to move viewer role Q text into position. Let's just see if we got anything in the errors. Looks like we're doing pretty well. Okay, so right here, this is where we want to go through all of these entries right here and get them in the right spots. So all right, so in here we've got the text effect, and we want to say, is there an ease? We want to move it from, we want to say start, we want to start now, and let's say now is equal to performance now. Our from X, let's do this. Let's create a new local variable for this thing. And we're going from the TextEffects.x, TextEffects.y, and my 2 is going to be TextEffect.x, comma, this.getY. Was it getY? Get Q entry Y for my Q position. It's going to be viewer Q1 entry dot Q position. That's my ease, and what's my last component of that is my time span. Feels like it's about 400 milliseconds. That's what it feels like it is. Now we do have, this is my starting point right here, and to get this kind of animated kind of motion, I kind of feel like I want to add a delay in here. So let's create a new number called delay. Set it equal to 0 right there. And let's get similarly a constant time between moves. And set that to about 150 milliseconds. And then we're going to come down here and we're going to say delay plus equals time between moves. And then the question of when we start is going to be now plus our delay. And I think that should give a kind of a trickling down. I think, you know, who knows if this is going to work or not. We've written a lot of code. And at this point, I'm a little bit like, wait, did I miss anything? Not sure. I think I'm about ready to refresh though. Let's just double check our errors. Looks like we've got some warnings. No errors right there. Don't look at that number right there. That's not any good. Okay, let's do a refresh of the Dragon front overlay in OBS. Let's actually refresh everything, including the back. Let's start it up. And actually, I want to kind of do a little more hard refresh on this. Okay. And just to be fair, do the back as well. So gone into forced a kind of a hard reload on those. We've started up the D&D app. Once that gets in, it should connect via Signal R, clear off the initialization text up there. That seems to have worked. Let's hide the scroll. And let's now, moment of truth, send one out and then another one out. Whoops. What's happening here? Breakpoint. Okay. Nothing in the queue yet. Let's throw another card out. 1, 2, 3. Well, expecting to see something, but we don't. At that point, if ever all the code we had written for the last hour and a half or so worked, we would see it. But I don't see it. So let's come in here, refresh here, see if we see any errors coming in. Okay, 1, 2, 3. No exceptions. Don't forget to add the pieces in. Yeah, it looks like I didn't add them. So not bad. Not bad, but it won't show them if I don't add them. So it's player, what are they called? Parent text animations. There's no push. There's an add call in there. Add text. Oh, wait. No, I am adding them. I'm already calling add text up here. That should include them. What do I got? I have no errors here, right? We do have the command update viewer role queue. There's the queue. Am I failing to call these? Viewer role queue, calling. All right, let's call something out here and see what we see. Make sure we're seeing at least something like this, an entry for that. Okay, refresh. Did I miss? Yeah, you missed. Roy left. He's here and he left. Okay, let's send out some data. 1, 2. That should give us a queue entry. Add role to queue. We got it. Why aren't we seeing it? So we're coming in here. I want to throw this kind of more in the middle of the screen for a second. So we can see that. See if it makes any difference at all. I don't think it will, but one, two, three. And we're not seeing anything. Not seeing anything. Okay, we got add role queues coming in. Let's see what's going on with that. Let's throw this one out. Throw that in there, refresh it. One, two. So we're immediately removing. What's wrong with that? If we didn't find it, oh, because we're never setting found to true. Yeah, that's my problem. Okay, my fault on that. Let's set, when we add it, if it's missing it, yeah, setting it to true is a little tricky on here. Because of the existing implementation of this, we used sum and So if that role ID is equal to this role ID, I am going to have to move found up. Okay. All right, so found role is true, and then right here we're going to say return not found role is what we're going to do. So we're going to also, if queue missing is queue missing role, we're going to mark any of these as found if we found them. We just call it if mark as found. So if mark as found is, we're going to now change this to return true found role. And now what we're going to do is say here, if not mark is found, then add role to queue. Let's see what that does for us. There's one. Let's do a second one. That should give us a queue. Okay, we're still seeing removing. Oh, I think I know what my problem is. I've got two different roles here is what I want to do. So what I want to say now is I want to say, so mark is found. So we're in the viewer role queue entries. We're marking those as found. Looks like it should be working. Hold on. Let's do this. One. 2. No found. So then we should add it. And if we add it, I think this is my problem. Yeah, I think it's going to be the most of our code is going to work. It's just it needs a couple changes. Let's see if that does it. There we go. Is that going to go away when we get the second roll? It does. Let's get another space in there between the roll string and the name. We can do that. Let's go back and change the 960 to 1080. Refresh it. One, two, three, 4. I did a refresh, but it still put it in the middle. Can't tell if the other ones moved down. It didn't look like they moved. I'm going to say it's not moving. I think there's a second 960 is what I think is happening. The hands are off the mouse. Yeah, it's not moving it down. Parent text animations. We call and update positions on it. We are in Dragon game. We're calling update and render text animations. It's called from the Dragon front game. Why aren't those animations, those eases moving? Excuse me. Yeah, it should be calling it. It should the easing should happen as well. I'm not understanding quite. I'm not quite understanding yet why that's not working. Oh wait, I'm not updating queue position. So initialize from is here. This might do it. Let's try again. One, two, three, four. Looks like our roll string is incorrect. Oh, there, we got the motion coming down. Now, why is it like lined up in the middle of the screen instead of on the far right? Not understanding that. I'm giving it this position right here. And in the sprite move to, we're just using the existing X position right there. That's weird. I'm going to refresh it on the stream just to verify it's not some sort of weird caching problem. It's kind of flashing and going away here. Did I not? Hold on. Make sure I do a hard refresh on that. Try one more time. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. What's going on? Why is it different behavior here? It's not smelling good. It's, in other words, I think the code is good, but I feel like there's some sort of cached behavior out here somewhere. Yeah, here it's not getting rid of them. It's also drawing it what appears to be right aligned to the center of the screen. Wonder what happens if I try closing this. And let's try refreshing the cache one more time here. Try one more time. My gut feel is, yeah, no, it's just put it in the middle and got rid of it. My gut feel is there's some sort of cache out here somewhere. Hey, Frank. Bonk. How's everybody doing? Glad everybody's with us here. Coding Gorilla, we all miss him. He's our superstar. He is. Okay. All right, let's maybe try shutting some stuff down and starting it back up again and seeing if we can, seeing if that's maybe the problem. Come in here. I closed that. Did that shut everything down? No, it did not. All right, I'm going to kill this. So to kill that, I'm going to rebuild. Oops. Got some Karnak stuff flashing up over here. It does that build. It doesn't smell good to me. Let's see what happens. Did it work? Build succeeded. Okay, cool. So build succeeded. Let's hit run again. I'm going to go refresh my overlays. This announcer bot coming back in. I'm going to kill this app too, and we're going to restart this. I almost have a feeling this is going to fix it. Sometimes we see this, that JavaScript somehow gets into a state where the changes to the code don't seem to be appearing in when you run it, and that might be the case. What's happening now? Okay, so let's refresh some pieces here. There's the front overlay. Here comes the back overlay. Let's refresh the drone game. Let's get some more music back here again. Let's refresh that. Let's see what we got when we what's going on here? It's like it's trashed my history. What? What? That's super weird. All right, I'm going to open up a different Chrome window to there we go. Test the card, play the card. Play again. Yeah, well, it did change behavior, but it's still right up and down the middle here. Play a few more cards here a second. I just want to see what the position is that this drawing at. See if we can figure that out. What kind of magic numbers do we have here? Oh, okay. It's my fault. Oh, and I just lost power. Is it coming back? Oh man, I think we're gonna have to stop the stream. Let me get a raid going here real quickly here if I can. Raid you guys out of here. Lost power, it looks like it's not coming back. We'll get you out of here, kids. I think I almost got it. It was just my problem, my fault. CLW. Here we go, kids. Say hi to CLW for me. And thanks so much, everybody, for joining us. Get you out of here before the power shuts you down. Ah! Happy coding to you too, Real McCoy. I think we're done here. I just need a 1920, not a 1080. See you later, kids.